Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Shed Show. I'm your host, Ryan Shed. This is my co host, Ian Sherman. We
What up,
are
though?
so glad to be back. Um, we had to come on now that Trump's been indicted and have a conversation. So um,
This is historic. This is really historic.
it really is. Before we get into it, though, I just want to say happy Pride Month to everybody out there who celebrates and doesn't get offended by rainbow flags. Do you got anything to
Tip your
say?
waitress. Go to your local drag queen brunch and
Yes,
have a great time.
yes.
Learn how
Bring a
to do
book,
a
have them
split,
read it.
backflip, do something. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. I promise, no children are being injured at a drag queen brunch. It's gonna
Not
be
a
a great
one.
time.
I mean,
No,
they might learn
no.
how to read a little better, but.
Oh my God. Well, at least I'll have better personality and maybe know how to dress, put
Yep.
something together.
I
So
saw Graham Allen. I'm going to talk about him a couple times today, but he posted a video from somebody of a bunch of pride flags in New York somewhere. Like it was all lined up, and they were complaining about it. And I was like, you guys can just walk right past it, right? Like you can just walk
yeah,
past it and go home. It's not hurting you. And he
they
said
can't.
that no, but he said that the pride flag and the way that and everything that's going on with the LGBT community is making us look weak to the world, to our enemies. And I just have to say it, and I don't know if you agree with this, but me personally, I think having a former president indicted for the first time ever might be making us look a little weak to our enemies. But
Twice impeached, twice indicted thus far.
yeah.
The track list of how many are down the pipeline on top of that, forget about it.
And the sitting members of
Forget about it.
Congress, like this is legit espionage going on.
Man, these people lost their damn minds. I'll tell you right now.
Truth. Truth.
They they don't know what's up, what's down. They are trying to pull anything and everything out the sock. Like they don't know. They do not know. My man
Nope.
has one, two, three, four, five, six, seven right now down the pipeline.
Mm.
Well, I should say two, which we have been convicted. Um, then he had to pay E. Jean Carroll for that, and then she's suing him again for defamation because my man
Yeah.
couldn't learn his lesson and started popping
Because
off,
he kept
talking
going.
that. Do you understand that it's him bumping his gums? All this is him bumping
Mm.
his gums.
If
Everything
he just
about it.
if he
Everything about
somebody
it.
said that if he just would shut up and not say anything, he probably would have gotten away with most of this shit.
Oh, let me show you some of these documents I have. You know it's illegal, right?
Yeah. Why?
I didn't say that. I didn't say any of that.
Like he sounded like a kid in a like the unpopular kid in high school that was like, "I'll do your homework for you." Like, do you
Right.
think I'm cool because I have top secret documents? Like, you were
No.
the president. You don't have to, or at least you shouldn't have to do that kind of shit. Like, who
No,
who
no.
cares?
He's always been the oddball out, and that's what's been his issue.
It
He's
really
never
is.
been
It's his
accepted
crutch.
by
It's
he's
his
never been
crutch.
accepted by the 1%, and that's what he desperately wants. His little baby ass sausage fingers desperately wants to be loved by, and he will never. His disgusting ass toupee, no.
I know. Yeah, he's definitely wearing
No.
the rug now.
No. My
So
man,
before we get into the actual Trump impeachment, I just want to say, and mainly probably just to spin up the conspiracy theorist on the right, but did you happen to hear uh, what happened with Tara Reid, the woman who accused Biden of sexual assault?
did she update her passport? Did she get a new
I think
stamp?
I think she got a new stamp in it,
Did
brother.
she
I
get a
think
new
she got a
stamp?
new stamp,
Is
and
she hanging out? Is she hanging out with our friends in Mother Russia?
yeah, she is, and now she has been granted asylum in Russia. So I guess we went from accusing a president running someone running for president of sexual assault, and then for some reason, why they're in the middle of a war that could potentially turn into a world war, you
What's the
decide to move
trade?
to Russia. See,
What's the trade? That's my
there you
question.
go.
What's the
Because
trade?
I think that was you that we were talking about that, right?
I mean, I would hope you would remember me, and yes, it was. But yes, it but
Like,
yes, to
yes,
throw
asshole,
yourself
it
under the
was
bus,
me.
I will assist you. Here's a
Thank you,
towel.
thank you. I felt
Yes,
that.
yes.
Um,
But
No, go ahead. Tell them.
That is the biggest question, though, is what is the trade-off? Because if you have someone like Edward Snowden doing it, we understand the trade-off. We understand that, for him to get asylum, he definitely has intel on certain things. He can boost their systems. He can do whatever
Yeah,
for them.
the
We get
quid
that.
pro quo makes sense in there. Yeah.
What's hers?
Yep.
Because we know the spy game is real. We know that there are certain things there. We know that there were certain deterrents that were implemented.
Yep.
Laptops weren't working. Certain laptops, which that whole story is just wild. The hard drive of his son, and how that took its own life, and how it amazes me how they've tried to pin so much on Hunter, on
Hmm.
Biden, when it's like he's not running for office. He
Yeah.
has nothing to do with the office. He's not Ivanka. He's not any of the other idiot ass Tweedledee and Tweedledum Trumps. He's not the 14-year-old at the time, Byron. All of them who were completely engulfed into our government, implemented, and then also took over clearances where they did not even pass certain security
Yep.
checks. So even with these classified documents, could even Ivanka or Jared be looking at these documents? Why is it that Jared was getting a 6 billion
Two,
payday?
2 billion.
Was it
Yeah.
2 billion?
Yeah.
Two.
He
He
got two
owed six.
billion
He
from
owes
Saudi
six on
Arabia.
that building. He owes 6 billion on that building here in New York. He got a 2 billion payday. It's like, what's the trade-offs that we're talking here? What
And
is
there
really happening?
and just to kind of put that into perspective, and again, actually, I'll say that in a second, but they're talking about $5 million with Hunter, and they're trying to say $5 million made its way to. That's the way I have read it, and it's like, okay, you guys are complaining about $5 million, which is fine. If they committed crime, they committed the crime, but they totally ignore and overlook Ivanka and Jared getting $2 billion from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
Like,
post
it's the
presidency.
selective outrage for me. Like, if you're going to be pissed off about $5 million, whatever, which please prove it to us. I'm waiting to see the information
Yeah.
to prove it to
Oh
us.
yeah.
But if it happened, you can't sit there and complain about that and then look at the Jared and Ivanka thing and go, that's normal. No, no, you got a $2 billion payout not even 6 months after leaving the White House. What information were you motherfuckers giving the Saudis to create that payoff?
Yeah.
$2 billion is a lot of money. It's a
That's
lot of
not
money.
we best friends money. That's you owe
That's
me a favor money.
you gave
Yeah.
me information money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
and
mean, if we are to speculate, yes.
if we're to speculate, and then if you're to look at some of the things in the indictments, one of them was
No
nuclear
longer
nuclear
no longer,
capabilities.
Ryan, no longer speculation.
Yes, right.
It
But
was
it says
speculating
in the
until this moment
indictment
in time.
that they found information on nuclear capabilities of other countries.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
the dude didn't take like a lunch menu. The guy was taking nuclear information. And I'm sorry, $2 billion. That sounds like the kind of money that
Well,
somebody
hefty
would pay
price
to
tag.
know
Hefty
what the
price tag right there.
capabilities of their enemies might be.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
It's gonna be
espionage.
really.
That's treason.
I mean, that's why he's getting hit with that because no one's a fool. Have you looked up in the past 5 years how many spies have been caught going through Mar-a-Lago? Like how
Mm-mm.
much? Oh my God! Since 2017, there's been stories like just headlines regarding this stuff where they talk
Yeah.
about how many infiltrated targets have been caught, pushed away, whatever, all circulating around Mar-a-Lago because of how many events. If you look at the indictment, it talks about how many events took place between a certain
150.
boom alone just from this. And this is not even talking about his presidency. This is post presidency that they're talking about the
Yep.
events.
And I
That's
think this is a good time to show the pictures
by all means.
because what Ian's talking about here, guys, is all the events that happened at Mar-a-Lago in that time frame. There were top secret documents on the property, and
That were not properly stored, were not being securely watched because the Secret Service was not informed of said documents and were not told to look at anything other than the president and his family.
yep,
So that means you're talking about rooms, empty rooms, where things are just sitting around, damn near just knocked over, which one photo shows.
Yep.
Boom. Perfect example. Where anybody could just walk in here and just go through and rummage. And the question is, at that photo again, was that how someone left it because they were running through it and they just knocked it over and ran out? Or is that
Yeah.
just how it just tipped over?
That.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it probably fell over. The box is all broken. You know.
How many people were going through it is my question.
Oh, I mean, at least 2 or 3 employees from the text messages they put in the indictment. And then
This
you
kills
see it
me.
here. If you know, hopefully people can see in the screen. But if you look in the mirror or in the window, you'll see that behind the shower curtain, they've got boxes stacked up to the top of that curtain.
But can we just talk about real quick? He has a chandelier in this bathroom. Wait, keep that photo up, please. But can we talk about that busted ass shower curtain?
Dude,
Like, can we just for a
I'd
minute?
stand up and hit my head on that.
I'm just saying though, he has a chandelier in this bathroom because I see a stall right there.
Yep.
But then he has this busted ass fugly shower curtain. Like, can we not get any more tacky?
Right. Uh, I have a nice shower curtain than that shit.
Bro,
And then
bro.
this is
And
a
then on
ballroom.
stage, what is this bullshit, man? Come on.
So
Come
you're
on.
telling me that nobody walked in here and started going through them boxes?
Man, it's just you can't write a dumber script,
Nope.
okay, for anybody who is this idiot. And this was the president of the United States of America.
Yeah, please don't remind me. Please.
This
Please
is
don't
how he
remind me.
runs things. I'm saying this is how his system is ran. But what's really interesting and telling about him is that he gets other people to do the work for him.
Mm.
And so what's interesting is this valet character, the second name that pops up in this. Do you have
Yeah.
his name? He
I don't
was
have it pulled up.
I'll bring it to you right here. He literally, which gets me, um, he was in the Navy, and then he became his valet. And I wonder how does that transition work? How is it such an honor to be the valet of the president
Well,
at the White House?
he was his body man. So,
Same
you
thing.
know, I really wonder I wonder as well how that happened. The way it sounded to me was that he had a position with the Navy, and that at some point maybe he got out and became his, like, started working directly for him. Because if he was still in the Navy getting those payments from the PAC, that's a fucking problem.
That's a whole other conversation, huh?
I mean, if he was still on active duty, and I don't know, so please don't fry me
No,
for
no,
that.
I believe it's when he left the White House to join him at Mar-a-Lago. That's when he became part of the PAC, being paid by the PAC. I
Okay.
should say clearly.
So as long
Yeah.
as he wasn't active duty while he was being paid by the PAC, then that part's okay. Even though I think it's still fishy and messed up that they're paying, not just that they were paying him 100 and something $1,000 a year out of that PAC, but that they're also paying his legal fees right now.
Yes, and his name is Mr. Nada.
Yep.
Nauta. Nata.
And he's a fairly young guy.
Yeah.
Like he's not an old guy. Like he was just in the military. So it's
And he
like
left to move in with Trump and be a part
he
of that.
he got sucked into you know, he got brainwashed.
I wouldn't go that
Or he
far. I
agrees
wouldn't
with
go
or
that
he
far.
agrees with
I
it.
wouldn't.
But I'm telling you right now, anybody that has been in the military knows damn well what they're doing. Now, we go through training, whether no matter what your security clearance in the military is, you go through document training.
Yeah.
You go through OPSEC training. There's all these trainings that every soldier goes through. So it's like I just cannot explain to people. I can't emphasize to people enough how messed up this is. How if this were anybody else, they would already be in federal prison. Like they wouldn't have had years, because the only reason it's taken this long is because no president has ever been indicted like this.
Well, this is what's so interesting about this too, though, is that because it's now him and his little body, whatever you want to call it, bodyman.
Yeah.
Because he brought in his bodyman, this actually goes against Trump because there's no way that you could charge one person and then not charge the other. So the reality is this might be the nail in the coffin regarding the fact that now they have to be tied together to this.
Yeah.
However it goes. And even if this bodyman is an eyewitness, because he lied to the FBI, that's the problem.
Yeah.
He specifically lied to their face.
Yep.
They questioned him twice. It wasn't until the second time that he came clean about everything. But to play stupid and act like they don't already know the answer, they're just asking you, like, that's where you should already know when you're walking in. A, you should have a lawyer with you. B, don't act stupid. You're not the smartest one in the room.
No, he had the opportunity to cover his ass. Be like, he really probably could have just been like, I just moved the boxes that my boss told me to. Like, I don't know.
I was given a phone call. I was
Yeah.
told to move.
Told to move
This
some
is all I
boxes. I don't
did.
know what the fuck they
Did you
are.
ever look inside? I never took the opportunity to look inside. I just moved them from when I was told to move them.
But the
That's
problem, and it sounds to me like the CCTV is one of the bigger things that they're going to use to prove, the boxes
Right.
being moved around and shifted around.
Right.
Because what's the 3-card Monty that they play on the streets? Right, shifting the cards around.
Yep.
Find
Yep.
find the queen. Find the queen.
Yep.
That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Move the shit into the storage. Oh, but only leave 5 boxes out. These are the 5 boxes we want them to see. We're only going to send 14 boxes back to the archives, but we're
Right.
still going to have 75 here. Oh shit, they're going to come and find them again. Let's put some on a plane and fly them up to Bedminster so that.
This is the perfect example of fuck around and find out. I mean, that's all I can really say to you. Like, and what's funny is Pence, Biden, I'm sure maybe Obama was like, I believe I have a box in my garage.
Yes.
Like, come
I
get
might
that
have
shit.
some stuff.
Come
I might have a
come
few
get that
things.
shit. Come
Yep.
get that shit. Take it. Like we just saw how you ran up on this man. Just come get this shit. Take it. I don't want it. You know what? If there's some dirty drawers in that box, keep them. I'm not participating.
Biden and Obama. I think Biden and Obama called each other. Like,
yo, man, Pence was like,
I don't want them rolling up on
shit.
me like that, Joe. I'm gonna. I think you should.
Yo, my man Pence asked Mother if it was okay if the FBI could come in, take that shit. Like, don't forget that he calls his wife Mother. By the way, do not forget. This man is running for president and he still calls his wife Mother.
Yeah, and again,
Creep.
I'm not gonna sit here and say, I'm not gonna contradict myself or anything. If you took confidential documents, it should be looked into. But there's a difference between, you found a couple confidential documents in some boxes, that you moved, and stealing literally 70 plus boxes with hundreds of top secret, classified, secret documents. Like, let's be clear, that is not what happened when they searched Pence's place. That's not what happened when they searched any of Biden's places.
No.
One of the documents they found was in a box with Biden's son's funeral stuff.
Yeah.
So it's almost like,
and that was at his think tank, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that one was at his think tank. They found
which is a secure location. It's not a fucking hotel.
Yeah, they found it in his office. They found it in his office, and then there was something. I think they found a couple documents in Delaware. I think it was
in
like
his private residence
in his garage. Private residence, But again, it's like, what was the document? And was it nuclear secrets, or was it a confidential communication about something that wasn't really a big deal?
Right.
I mean,
infrastructure from 2013
does matter a little bit.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's still wrong. I'm not sitting here saying it's not wrong, but the context does matter. Like, did it accidentally slip into a fucking file and whatever, or was it taken and moved around and purposely hidden? That's not what happened.
None of them played a stupid game with the government. None of them. They said, hey, I think I have something, including Pence. They said, hey, I think that I have something. Can you guys come check this out? And they did the proper channels, which you're supposed to. But I was informed that a president is allowed to take specific documents. They have a couple years to go through certain things of theirs. But this is what's interesting about Trump. I feel like he packed up everything the night before.
Sure,
and I mean that as in he thought he was going to win the presidency. He thought he wasn't moving, and he waited last minute to pack up all his shit because he had to go. And I feel like that was a catalyst. So because he fucked around for January 6th, it transitioned into what happened for the day he had to go. He had from January 7th to, was it January 20th, that he had to get his shit and get the fuck out the White House.
Yep.
All his shit. And it was like an eviction. where he just threw all his shit in
Oh,
boxes.
they got pictures of the boxes all out on the curb, man. Like,
he got evicted.
it was
That was a
beautiful.
straight up. I don't know if you've ever seen someone getting evicted. They have 30 days to get the fuck out, and sometimes you see that scramble. That's what he looked like.
Uh-huh.
He looked like it was the mad dash scramble, and he had to go to Mar-a-Lago because nothing else was working for him. And he hated New York. We booed his ass on election day.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Oh my
Well,
god.
so let's get into. I want to go through a couple of the documents, parts of the indictment that I thought were
Let's.
interesting, and then we'll end it with talking about the GOP losing their freaking minds on social media today. Some of them have been pretty interesting, but so here, the one of the more interesting parts for me was the public statements that they put in the indictment that Trump made in 2016 when he was running
Yeah.
against Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
You know, it just really makes him look bad because he's taught everything he accused Hillary of, or is trying to, the talking points he was using against Hillary is the stuff that he did. In Trump on August 18th, 2016, he said, "In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. No one will be above the law." He said, "We also need to fight this battle by collecting intelligence and then protecting our classified secrets. We can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified."
That one's so rich.
That one's good,
So
isn't it?
good. It's so good.
"One of the first things we must do is to enforce all classification rules and to enforce all laws relating to the handling of classified information." He then went on to state, "We also need the best protection of classified information." Apparently, that's a storage unit in Florida.
Next to my shower.
Actually, inside, he reads them in the shower. White. And another one was, "Service members here in North Carolina have risked their lives to acquire classified intelligence to protect our country so that he could sell it to the highest bidder."
It's so wild. It's so wild. So
It
fucking
really
wild.
is, man. And just, I'm really glad that, and by the way, Jack Smith is a stud. He's a freaking stud.
You got a bromance?
A little bit, because I liked the statement. It wasn't 10 minutes of blah blah blah. It was 2 minutes and 30 seconds of, "This is what we're doing. The people I work with know what they're doing. They're
He
freaking
gave them a lot of
phenomenal."
credit. He gave them
He
a lot
did.
of
He
credit.
gave them the credit.
He gave his team
He's
credit.
like,
He gave his team
the
credit.
team that I have working with me are freaking good at what they do. They're freaking great. I'm proud to stand, shoulder to shoulder with them.
Yeah.
This Trump should be presumed innocent by the system until proven otherwise.
When
And
he hit it with that, when he literally dropped that little nugget right there, I said,
it
he's not
diffused a
fucking
lot.
around. He's not
Well,
fucking around.
it
He's playing
diffused.
by the book. He's
Yeah.
letting you know he is literally on the straight and narrow. There is no teetering of picking sides. They're being very cautious about this, where there's nobody affiliated with Biden at all around
Yeah.
any of this. And I mean that as in, like, there's no way that Biden's not being kept in the loop, as in he's the president. He's informed of shit. There's
Yeah.
no way he's not being. Does that say that he is dictating anything? No.
He
No.
doesn't need
To be informed is one thing. He's like, that's them. They're doing their thing. I'm focused on this.
Yep.
I don't have anything to do with this. That is a huge difference. So when you watch the talking points of them keep trying to say Biden's DOJ, really think about the coded language that they have, because they weren't saying Trump's DOJ is against Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
There is no talking point with that. Trump's DOJ was also looking at him, which was the Mueller report. That was still Trump's DOJ. So that tells you how deep all this stuff goes. One thing to really keep in mind, though, is that Jack is so solid on what he's trying to do. And I should be calling him Mr. Smith, but put some respect on that name.
Right.
He looked at the fundamentals of this case, and he said, okay, there's DC where the documents were taken from, and then there is Florida where the documents ended up at. And he was president when he left, and by the time that he was in the air going to Florida, he was no longer president. So therefore, the crime took place in Florida.
Mhm.
And this is a crucial detail because he said if he would to get this wrong, they could throw out the entire case
Yep.
because those small little details absolutely add up and they do matter. They weigh heavily. So he chose to make sure that this happens in Florida where the crime happened. And guess what? They drew the wild card of a judge. And that judge is the same judge that started this bullshit at the very beginning a year ago. This is full circle.
Yep.
And I'm sure Mr. Smith literally planned on, or at least anticipated.
He had a contingency plan for it.
I'm sure he has. I'm sure he has A, B through Z
Yep.
planned out because my man doesn't look like he's playing around.
Well, no, and I said something on Twitter the night before he did his statement and the indictment was unsealed, and I said, look, and it was particularly aimed at the right wing people.
Yeah.
There's no way this man, looking at his career history, his education, his accomplishments, this is not a man that is going to sign on or push an indictment if he doesn't know that he can win. I really, and again, just the few times I've watched him speak, but especially after yesterday, like you said, he's not messing around. And I don't think he pursues this unless he knows that they have what they need to get this done. And I would sincerely hope that, like you said, he has a contingency plan for Judge Eileen Cannon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, she embarrassed herself and the Republican Party that put her in power
yes.
in 2020, and by embarrassing herself, all of her judgments were overruled by a more conservative court, that is the appeals court, and that appeals court literally in their writings pretty much talked down to her. And
Mhm.
it's like, it's really bad when you think that you're going to teeter to an ex-president who appointed you and that you're going to show some favoritism because now you're coming in. And the question is, because this is just for Tuesday's arraignment.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario, she could just toss the case out. Worst case scenario, which could then be litigated and she would have to give reason to toss it out and it would then go again to appeals court. She would just completely just suicide for her career. It'd be over.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
No one would ever take you serious ever again in life and there would be huge revolt.
Yep.
From the justice system. There'd be something there. I wouldn't be surprised if she got herself indicted. And Ken Paxton style.
Yep.
And so you look at what else could happen is that she could possibly do her number one thing, which is delay. And the issue that we're looking at, and this is what Mr. Smith said, he said, we're looking for a very speedy trial because the people, American people, are owed this. This needs to be dealt with immediately.
And before the election.
And she could try to delay it up into the election, which then would put so much more pressure on everybody else. It would be a catastrophe. This is the game that these people can really play. And this is what we've got to pay attention to.
They plan on playing.
It's the game that they plan on playing. And so this is what's interesting about it. And that's why I give it to Mr. Smith is that he definitely knew what he was doing going into this in Florida.
Yeah.
And the fact that he brought in 2016 or 2017 Trump's quotes about how he felt towards Hillary or towards any other administration shows you that he knew exactly what he was doing, shows you all the bits and pieces that lead up to espionage. Because if he was just say, oh, it's espionage, and it's like, well, where's your proof on all that? He laid every single detail out.
He did.
The amount of conversations, the amount of boasting to anybody who would listen, which makes me wonder who was in some of these rooms, which is one of the biggest factors. Looking back, if you have time, look back at how many people, spies-wise, was located, removed, or also just stopped from infiltrating Mar-a-Lago. It's a cesspool for some of the bottom feeders on this planet. Let alone, I mean, just look at that shower curtain. But I can't, man. I'm just saying.
That was funny.
I'm just saying. Just look at the rate of how much it costs to go to Mar-a-Lago. I think you can afford a better shower curtain than that. I'm just saying. So, if you're gonna hide your documents, just spruce it up. Just step your game up, man. Just saying. So, but it's interesting to see, will she recuse herself is the number one question from any of this, because she's already showed that she can't do her job to the
Yep.
best of her ability. I mean, you look at like the judge in DeSantis versus Disney. This judge recused himself because he had family members who owned stock in Disney, which everybody's like, but you don't. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like, you don't. And it's like, no, he's a noble individual. He's like, no, I'm following, which makes me think about this. These judges have more rules and regulations on them than the fucking Supreme Court. Think about that.
Yeah. But I'm glad you
What?
said that because I think that's important thing that we need to be pushing through this whole thing is any judge that has any ties to Trump, and especially Supreme Court justices who are appointed by him, should have to recuse themselves from any case involving the Trump family, Trump, the Trump organization. They should recuse themselves
It
because
would be the right thing to do, but at the same time, you know that they want to hold on to power and they'll never do it.
yeah, well, and you know the reason they got the power, I'm sure they owe some favors, you know, unfortunately. But let's go back to some of the documents because I want the people that listen to this to hear some of this how bad it is because some people didn't
Yeah.
read it, not everybody read it. I want to go back to that one.
I had a
So,
field day reading this.
dude, it kept me
It's
up
really
last night.
interesting. It's intriguing. I'm really intrigued by this.
So when Trump was talking to a couple of lawyers that were supposed to come and look through the boxes, he ended up making these statements. Trump attorney one memorialized them, and he said, "I don't want anybody looking. I don't want anybody looking through my boxes. I really don't. I don't want you looking through my boxes." Well, what happens if we just don't respond at all or don't play ball with them? Wouldn't it be better if we just told them we don't have anything here? Well, look, isn't it better if there are no documents? So he's literally trying to coerce the lawyers into lying for him,
Again, doing his dirty work.
doing his
That's the
dirty work.
genius. That's the genius of Trump.
But the kicker is what they did to lawyer number three. So lawyer number one and lawyer number two were involved and going through the boxes and stuff like that. But it was mainly lawyer number one, whoever that is. But then lawyer number one contacts lawyer number three and says, "Hey, the FBI is coming and we need to certify, or the Department of Justice and FBI are coming and we need to certify this thing." And basically, she ends up signing a document that says a diligent search was conducted of the boxes that were moved from the White House to Florida. This search was conducted after receipt of the subpoena in order to locate any and all documents that are responsive to the subpoena, and any and all responsive documents accompany this certification. The problem is that,
They set her up for failure.
and the problem is that she certified something that she was not present for.
Yep.
So they had her sign a document stating that everything was done the way that it was supposed to be done and
Yep.
that they found all the documents and there's nothing else. She signed it and she was never present for any of it.
Which tells you she is terrible at her job.
Well, it's either she's terrible at her job or she was a newer attorney that they knew they could take advantage of.
But that's my point. You have to be that thorough to make sure
You
you.
do.
What is the rule of thumb? Cover your ass policy.
Yep.
And you can't just be signing your name on anything for anybody at any time without knowing fully what you're signing for.
And you should know that if you graduate.
These people are doing it to themselves. I have no pity for any of them.
I don't have any pity for the lawyers. The lawyers should fucking know better.
Not even this young dude, the bodyman.
Yeah. So what I liked about the indictment was it talked about what top secret, secret, and confidential are. So there was no question if you read the indictment of what each of the documents, what it should have entailed. So for top secret, I'll just read that one. Information was classified as top secret if the unauthorized disclosure of that information reasonably could be expected to cause exceptionally grave damage to the national security that the original classification authority was able to identify or describe. So top secret, if it's marked top secret, it could cause grave damage to our national security. Mm-hmm. So let's take a look. In Trump's office, they found 27 documents in total. 10 of them, or I'm sorry, 6 of them were top secret. 18 of them were secret, and 3 were confidential. In the storage room, they found 75 documents. 11 of them were top secret, 36 of them secret, and 28 confidential. Now, if you guys have been following me for a while, you know I'm a veteran. I worked on aircrafts, and my job required a secret security clearance because of what we worked on and all that stuff. So I was telling Ian before we got on the show, there was one instance I had to fire somebody because they were taking selfies in the aircraft hangar, and you could tell that they were in the hangar, and there were F-18s behind them. So because the planes were in the photo, I had to fire them. They lost their clearance. They lost their job. Like I literally had to take
Yeah.
their not their oh no, we did. We took their ID and everything.
Credentials, everything.
The base commander said, "Get his ID." We also had a badge we had to
Is that
wear to
a
go.
is that a dishonorable discharge?
Well, he was a contractor, so we weren't. He wasn't active duty. He was a
Oh, his
contractor.
okay. You snatched up his credentials.
Yeah,
He's
we
out.
snatched up everything,
Yeah.
and they literally made me walk him to the gate, and then the MPs followed him out.
Yeah.
So it was just like,
Did they clear his phone? Did they have to go through his phone?
yeah, they made him delete everything. Like they stood there and they're like,
Wow.
delete all the pictures, delete the social media posts, everything. So they
Wow.
don't joke around.
No.
Like
No.
and the amount of documents. I mean, look at this. If anybody else had 100 documents, 100 and what is that? 102, 103?
It's 103.
You got
Um,
103 freaking top secret documents. And if
I
it
thought
was
it was 100.
anybody else, they would be in prison
It's
already.
102. You and I, we went to public school. That's 102.
Yeah.
Um,
Damn
so,
Kimball.
so, yep, yep, yeah. You didn't have to drop names. You ain't got to drop names.
Yeah.
It's public school. Just public school. That's all you gotta say, bro. You just gotta say that. So here's
They
the
ain't there anymore. Don't worry.
thing. No longer exists. Go
Nope.
ahead, Ravens. Go
Yep.
Ravens. Whatever that is.
I don't know.
My concern. What do you need those 6 top secret documents in your office for? Who are you calling? What deals you making? Because this is where I'm no longer assuming anything, um, because you have hard evidence in your office. You know, that's the part where it's like, well, wait a minute. Your office is to do business, isn't it? So why would you have these documents in your office? And those are just the top secret. You said 6. Those other documents, what layers are there for secret or confidential? What actually exists for that? Nuclear power. You had strategy that was implemented in some of these documents,
Hmm.
how we handle if America's ever attacked or whatever the case is. So it's like, who wants to know these things?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are you giving this information to? Because there is none of this gray area of, well, he just had it. No,
No.
he had it in his office. He tried to keep it under wrap and key by literally moving it around his dumbass little club, by telling people to pluck it out and take it to their fucking hotel. And then that's again his genius. He doesn't say what to do, but he'll just
Yeah.
give you little gestures. Why don't you just get rid of it?
I was just,
And just take it with you.
yeah.
Why don't you just
And
get rid of it?
just to give more context to that, what Ian's talking about again, if you haven't read the indictment yet, so the lawyer that went through the boxes found however many documents, put them in this red folder, had somebody go get some clear tape, taped it up, and then went and talked to Trump and said, yeah, we found some documents, and he asked him, is any of it bad? And he's like, maybe you should just take that back to your hotel room, and go through it. And, anything you think's really bad, that looks really bad for us, just.
Yeah.
And he motioned. He did, like Ian said, it says in the
Motion to
indictment,
pluck
he
it
didn't
out.
say take it out. He made the motion, pluck it out. So it's like, damn, like,
yeah.
And then right after that is when they called attorney 3 and said, here, come, let us fuck your career over.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm sorry to say, it was a woman, and they
Yep.
sent her to the lion den, and they did not even care at all.
And it's interesting to me that, and I just thought of this, the body guy, Trump's body guy, he's on the indictment,
Yes.
but this lawyer isn't. I mean, she's she signed documents
Federal
falsely.
documents, falsified documents.
So
That's correct.
I'm really wondering what, if
Well, plea
anything, is
deals.
going to
Think about the
happen
plea
to her.
deals. Think about the plea deals that are happening.
And I would actually
So
be okay with that for her. Like I would actually be completely fine. Like tell us everything you fucking know, and
I think a majority of all this indictment is coming from the fact that it's mostly everyone from inside the house making the call.
yeah,
It's not the call came from inside the house. It's everyone is calling.
yep.
Everyone is saying something. From the busboy to the bodyman now to that lawyer. Everybody is talking. How many lawyers have now left Trump? So many
Including the ones
people.
in the indictment. They've all quit, just in case you all didn't know that. All the
They are
lawyers in the
stepping
indictment,
away.
plus a
They are
few more,
stepping away
they've
right
all quit.
now.
Yeah, you can call it what you want. Call it
They are
vacation.
all, brother, call it breathing room. They don't want that jumpsuit.
No,
They literally are looking at how Michael Cohen went down, and they're like, that is not going to be me. And so you look at how Trump sets up the fall guy always. I, I do believe he would set up his own kids to fall to
oh
save
for sure.
himself.
I
You know
have
what I
zero
mean?
doubt. I have
He just
zero
hasn't put them
doubt.
in a situation because all these other knuckleheads are jumping in their way to be there for this guy.
He's
And
almost
he's
done it
not.
to Ivanka once or twice because she's really distancing herself,
She's completely distanced herself.
and
It's the
and
best thing she's done.
he comes close, but he'll make
It's his
comments
favorite.
like,
It's his
yeah,
favorite.
he'll say something like, "Oh, she just doesn't know any better," and it's like, eh, yeah. If that was
Nah,
Tiffany,
man.
you'd already wrote her off.
Yo, Tiffany has zero room to fuck around.
No,
That's
she
it.
almost can't even call
That
herself
is
a
it,
Trump, bro.
bro.
Okay, so I
Bro.
want to move on to and we'll end it on talking about these responses because I think we'll have well, I shouldn't say fun because they're actually kind of freaking unhinged. But as you know, I spend a lot of time on Twitter during the day, and speaking of, I made the military news, the American military news, use one of my tweets. So,
Oh,
so the Air Force. Oh, here you go. So going back to Pride Month, the Air Force put out a Pride post, and it was very nice. It was very well done, and it was the Pride flag with like a soldier, like a cartoon shadow out of a soldier saluting, but the soldier had his back to the flag. Okay, they weren't. No soldier was saluting the flag, but the right wing took it and ran with it, and started calling it, saying that it makes us look weak, and all this other stuff. And I forgot where I was going with that. What was I?
they used you. They you
Oh
made
yeah, they used my
the
tweet. So I said, hey, just a proud Air Force vet here, reminding all the fascist conservatives out there complaining about this post that when we all join the military, we join it to fight for everybody's rights, for everybody's representation, not just the people that support our agenda.
well done.
And the military, I tell people this all the time. I worked with gay men, I worked with lesbian women, and most of them were better at the fucking job than the straight people. And when you're and another thing, when you're in the military, whether you're in a fucking war zone or you're just putting planes together, when you have a mission to do, you're
That's a goal.
focused on the mission. You're
Yep.
focused on the job.
Yep.
And guess what? If you're getting shot at or some other shit's going on, you don't ever look over and go, "Hey man, you don't happen to suck dick, do you?" "Oh, cool, we're good." You don't do that. You don't
No.
fucking care.
No.
You don't care because it's about getting the job done. It's about having each other's back. It's about everybody feels like brother and sister in there. Yeah, there's still
Right.
racism. Yeah, there's still bullshit. But man, I'm telling you right now, when we would go out in Japan and the whole shop would go, and if you fucked with one of us, everybody in the shop stood up. It
Right.
wasn't just going to be you going against me. It was going to be you and the 20 people in your shop. And you may go back to the shop and everybody may not like you very much, but when everybody's out on town, the whole
I
shop
got
sticks
your back.
together.
I got your back.
And that's the way it is.
Yeah, man, that's a brotherly love that we need to see in
And
general.
sisterly
But
love,
for
yep.
some reason, people really insist to love. But that our brothers and sisters on all sides of
Yes.
everything,
Yep.
and that includes the trans community. You know what I mean? Like it's none of this shit is new, and none of this shit needs to be blown out of proportion because they're bored and they literally have no talking points. They,
Well,
or they have nothing but talking points. That they keep attacking a certain community
I think
because they can't protect their actual kids. from
let me
gunfire.
let me ask you this: Do you think that the trans community is being used to divert attention from the Trump stuff?
I think the trans
I mean, I know that's not
community,
all of it. I mean,
no,
it's
but
very
I
deep
think
rooted, but
the deep rooted, because a lot of it is built off of Save Our Children.
yes,
And if you're looking at that, it's really, they're trying to change the narrative, the conversation around gun violence
yeah,
to indoctrination, which not real.
yeah,
Not, I'm sorry, it's not real. And
nope,
if you are enticed by going to a drag show, that's a you conversation.
yes,
And if you don't want to have that conversation, and I mean that with yourself,
hmm
that why are you excited? Why are you interested? Which I ask all my conservative friends, what is this fetish that you have that you're making me now a part of? Like, why are
yeah,
you telling me about your deep dark secret about, because you constantly talk about trans, yet you have no trans friends. Like, go get a trans friend. Like, go meet somebody, hang out
dude.
with them, buy them a drink, fucking learn from them what
I,
their life is like. And then maybe you'll see them as a human being and you won't have this bullshit ass attitude towards how they live their life. But yet you have that same saying, live and let live. You
yeah,
don't.
no, and I'm glad you said that. Go out and make a trans friend because I have a couple of and I'll call them friends that I've made online that I've learned a lot from. Like, and I'll go a step further and say I think a lot of the problem is that there are trans women out there that you can't tell. You just can't.
No.
You can't fucking
And
tell.
and that's why they get
And
upset,
and they
because
get
they find them
upset because when
attractive.
they find out that they're attracted
Boom.
to a trans person, they're like,
Yes.
"Fuck!" And
That's
there
where a
there's
majority,
something in their brain, the toxic masculinity or whatever it
yeah.
is, it starts fucking going off in their brain, and they're like, they start fucking short circuiting, like they're gonna, oh my god, I found a trans woman attractive.
I'll tell you right now, I'll tell anybody that they're if they're put together properly, if they look great, whatever. I don't care what you are, guy, girl, trans, whatever. I don't care what sex you are. I don't care, alien or not, and I mean that from outer space. I'm telling you right now, if you're doing your thing, I'm gonna give you props, whatever that is.
Yeah,
You look phenomenal. You look beautiful. You look absolutely gorgeous. I am so okay with my masculinity, who the fuck I am, that I am not worried about anything else because I only control me.
yep,
That's it. And if you're putting yourself out there and you're looking great and you're doing your thing, you should get your flowers, plain
yes,
and simple.
say it,
And if you are upset because you find someone attractive and now you have to have this little internal therapy session about why you're doing this, and anger is the
that's
only thing you got,
that's a you problem.
that's a you problem. And if that upsets you because you're going to Target and you're seeing some shit, or you're seeing something on Bud Light and that upsets you,
But they're not
I
upset.
really
But
don't.
they're not upset by a president committing espionage.
No, no, because they can't fathom that. That
Yep.
shows you that they don't have the gray matter to process that their president sold them out, and that he never was for them.
So
That's
I want I want to kind of tat. Wow, I'm losing my mind, man. Like seriously, I haven't even had anything to drink or nothing.
I've
Um,
been drinking for the both of us.
but I want to go through some of the responses from the right wing because they're kind of
Yes,
unhinged,
yes.
and it drives home the point of the people that are still supporting this guy. Like, I cannot tell you how much I want to scream at the top of my lungs if you still support Donald Trump at this point. There's
Ryan, I'm gonna,
something
I'm
wrong
gonna,
with
I'm gonna
you.
interject with you and just tell you one thing. You should not be shocked when a cult does exactly what a cult does.
You know,
First
dude,
and foremost, they drink the Kool-Aid. They are waiting for the comet. These motherfuckers are going to go
th-
down in a blaze of glory.
there's a
That's the reality.
difference to
This will
me.
be the end of the party. Do you understand that there was a few selective Republicans who said Trump will be the end of our party, and they are on that trajectory to see it to the end.
I agree with that because they're not.
They
If
are
the Republican
nothing.
Party was going to survive Trump, it would have happened after January 6th. That was their opportunity to be rid of him forever,
This
and they didn't
this
seize it.
primary will be everything you need to understand about what the party is and where it stands, because you have everything from the spectrum of Trump to somebody like Chris Christie, who I actually give credit to. Very charismatic, great
Sounds a
debater.
hell of a lot better than DeSantis or Trump. I can say that.
Well, DeSantis can't even pronounce his own fucking name, so I'm not worried about him. Um, for Chris Christie, he's a threat to both Trump and DeSantis because DeSantis can't get off script. He's not smart enough. He doesn't have any charisma. He has to do his talking points. He has to stick to wokeism. He doesn't know anything else, or he's gonna fucking malfunction. He only knows wokeism, and it's like he doesn't even know what that means. So I'm not worried about him. Chris Christie can go off the fly, and he can be charming. He can be energetic, and that's a big motherfucker. And he has energy for days. I'm telling you right now, he will eat their lunch on a debate stage, and he's coming out swinging the way that he is, and the party does not like it. The cult does not like it, which is why his numbers are very low. But he is just trying to get to the debate stage to do a kamikaze and take them both out.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting to see how the Republican Party is being shaped right now. So don't be shocked by none of their bullshit, any of them. They are a cult at this point. It only proves more that they are a cult. And it's interesting to see some of the names that you're going to throw our way, because one of them is a dino.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So first one we got here is Rep. Clay Higgins. He says, President Trump said he has been summoned to appear at the federal courthouse in Miami on Tuesday at 3 p.m. This is a perimeter probe from the oppressors. Hold, our POTUS has this. Buckle up. One of 50,000. Know your bridges. Rock steady, calm. That is all. So I want to point out the word hold, telling people to wait. I want to point out that he's saying he's one of 50,000 people. He's telling them to know the bridges in the area, and he's telling them to stay calm.
Stand back and stand by.
Okay? So that's Rep. Clay Higgins. Then we've got Andy Biggs from my home state, unfortunately. We have now reached a war phase. Eye for an eye. This is coming from elected officials, guys.
Yeah.
And these are just the ones I caught, by the way. Here's the dino that Ian was talking about. This is Tulsi Gabbard, who is running for president as a Democrat in 2020. The bottom line is that we have a sitting president using the power of the federal government to indict his political opponent before a presidential election. This could be the final nail in the coffin of our democracy. Every American, regardless of political affiliation, must condemn it. Bitch, are you crazy? You think we shouldn't indict
She was
this
crazy
guy?
when she had her comments to say about the LGBTQ. I've been done with her for a long time.
Carrie Lake, speaking in Georgia tonight, says to get Trump, Merrick Garland will have to go through 75 million Americans. Quote, and most of us are card-carrying members of the NRA. That's not a threat. That's a public service announcement. She got a standing ovation. So what does she do? She goes under the post saying that she's threatening people and says she meant what she said.
Hey, how well does 75 million NRA card-carrying members do against a drone fucking strike? Shut the fuck up.
I love that. I forget who apparently you don't know what a fucking drone strike is.
Like, I'm not worried about you or your fucking little ARs when it comes down to the entire US fucking army and all their technology that you don't know about unless you've been dealing with Trump's espionage. That's all I can say.
Unless you've been getting that. So Lauren Boebert, yesterday, Hillary Clinton had the nerve to sell merchandise as she gloated about Trump being indicted. The two-tiered justice system in our nation is completely out of control. Hillary has committed more crimes than just about anyone, and here she is selling hats and laughing. What a joke. So I guess when Trump sells pictures of himself and, all this other shit and, pictures of Hillary on his merchandise, that's okay. But when Hillary does it, that's not okay. Got it. And then on top of it, I'm still waiting for everybody to prove all the laws that Hillary Clinton broke, because I do believe she sat in front of Congress for like 11 hours and answered questions on like this.
Did not plead the fifth once, but I will say this with LB over there.
She did say I don't remember a lot, though. She did say I don't remember a lot.
She didn't plead the fifth.
Nope.
She didn't plead the fifth. That's all I can say. I do not recall. It's a different conversation.
Yes.
So, I mean, it is a different conversation. But what I will say is this. If LB put the amount of time that she does in texting or writing these tweets, you would think that she would show up to actually do her job and actually vote when it comes to her actually
Oh, did you see the video of her running up the stairs?
late, missing shit, and
Yep.
then going out there posting some bullshit talking about she did it for protest. No, no,
And she
no.
forgot her fake glasses when she was doing that one too. Charlie Kirk, he's been one of my favorites lately. By the way, if you didn't know, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, died today. He was 81.
Who?
The Unabomber.
Oh, wait. You said text what? You said something about text?
Ted Kaczynski.
Ah, got it.
Sorry.
So sorry.
And I might be pronouncing his last name wrong, but
Nope. Go ahead. Do your thing.
the Unabomber died today. So Charlie Kirk, when I said he was one of America's most brilliant young mathematicians ever, but went mad after being a subject in abusive MK Ultra experiments while at Harvard. A lot of people know about that, but did you know that before? Oh, this is something else. I'm sorry, but still messed up.
That's where I was confused. I'm like, wait,
sorry, my fault. We're going to talk about it anyway. Damn it.
Okay.
But did you know that before becoming a hermit who mailed bombs to people, Kaczynski also developed gender dysphoria and wanted to become a woman? So this dude's been attacking the transgender community just nonstop, and it's just irritating. So yeah, sorry that one made it in.
No worries.
And then we've got Ann Coulter. This one really ticked me off because I don't know if you remember, but I lost my Twitter for over 6 months for going on Don Jr.'s Twitter page and replying underneath, and I said, "Your daddy should be hanged for treason." And I put the photo of the guillotine that they had built outside of the Capitol.
Pence?
Yeah, for Mike Pence. I put that, and I said his daddy should be, and they banned me for that. But we have Ann Coulter here saying that she's calling on every Republican to commit suicide in solidarity with Trump. Otherwise, we don't have country, folks. She said Charlie Kirk pleads with.
I want you to really think about that. I want you to really think about what she said.
I know, right?
Nothing. I'm calling on every Republican to commit suicide. She wants every Republican to kill themselves in solidarity with Trump. Yeah. I think you might be misreading Ann on this one.
I might be, because she was responding to Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk pleads with Trump's GOP competition to suspend their campaign in solidarity with him.
Yeah.
So I think what she's saying is
exactly what you and I just said about the cult.
There need to be more options. Yeah.
Well, I think she's literally hitting it.
Suicide,
but think about what she's saying there. This is the drinking of the Kool-Aid. This is the cult aspect. She's saying it completely, and she's saying it in all caps. Every Republican to commit suicide in solidarity with Trump.
Yep.
She's literally saying that people are bending over backwards to be with this man and go down with the ship.
Yep. Which is insane. Graham Allen, he's another one of my favorites lately. He said, "We the people versus the United States." Game on.
Again, drone
strikes.
You do not understand that AI is coming for your job? Get out of here.
What were you saying? What were you?
You're literally going to get taken out by a 17-year-old who's been playing video games in his mom's basement, who doesn't even know what a gun is, okay? And he's just going to take you out and then go have his lunch.
In fact, he thinks you're a video game.
You know what I mean? He's going to go have his snack pack and then fucking go back to playing games again. That's it. It's over. It's over. AI is taking you out. It's done. It is done. We the people, calm down.
Right? Laura Loomer says, "I will only be voting for President Trump, even if he's in jail."
Okay, that's cute. You know what I mean? It's not everybody's
really saying "Oh, you all can put him in jail. We're still going to vote for him."
Well, here's what's actually really funny to me, and I really want you to put this in context and think about it. Trump, say Trump makes it to the very end. Say he is indicted, but he makes it to the very end, and he does win the nomination.
Mm-hmm.
He can be president and yet not be able to legally vote in the state of Florida.
Oh, for the felony?
Because he would be a convicted felon. So he could become A, yes, president, and also B, and unless DeSantis pardons him in the state of Florida, to allow that vote.
Well,
which he's against, because he's against criminals voting.
I really wonder if he would do it.
Well, he said that if he won presidency, he would pardon him. Yeah. That's what people are now running with. So yes, please continue.
And I want to show you guys this. So the indictment, he's being summoned to the federal courthouse in
Miami.
U.S. courthouse in Miami. And
Yep.
Trump's putting out, see you in Miami on Tuesday. All hands on deck. Trump document hoax rally.
This motherfucker's posting flyers.
Yep. And then here's
So
Marjorie
here's the
Taylor.
difference. Here's the difference before you go to the next thing. Here's the difference. That shit didn't work in New York because we don't play for a sucker.
Yeah.
You're talking about Florida man. So and DeSantis has removed any type of safety blocks for people to carry weapons. You can carry a weapon without being registered in the state of Florida. No concealment, no nothing. He has lessened the Second Amendment in that state. So you're looking at a lot of possible crazy people
Oh yeah. There's gonna
showing up to
be nut
this.
jobs there. There's gonna be straight up messed
It's
up
going to
people
be
there.
interesting to see how this plays out. And you know what? If it'd be very telling.
What if they
If
storm the
the
fucking courthouse?
hopefully they take the judge with them. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you because it's just a waste.
You
of
mean
people.
take her in a van somewhere?
Well, I mean nothing. I'm just saying.
You're like, I'm not going to clarify.
I'm not clarifying nothing. That's it is what it is.
All right.
I know I won't be there, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I won't be there. That's for sure. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she put out a lot of dumb tweets. So her and Trump were down in Georgia today. So they flew down, I guess, on his new airplane that everybody paid for, the new engines and new paint job. Nice. Biden and his weaponized DOJ are coming in.
The shade. I understand that you've worked on planes, but I do appreciate the shade that you just kind of tucked in there. The new engines, I mean, nice. Okay,
Nice.
all right. I got you, boo boo.
Oh,
Who hurt
man.
you? Who hurt you?
I'm telling you, I'm hurt deep. I have mommy and daddy issues. But she goes on saying that Biden has weaponized the DOJ, and they're coming after President Trump because the American people are ready for 4 more years of a Trump White House. I'm excited to join Trump on Trump Force One on our way to Georgia GOP convention.
I'm still recovering from the last 4 years of Trump. I feel
Right?
like I've aged.
I
feel like
can't
all of
handle another
Americans
4 years,
aged.
dude. I'll have a
His
heart attack.
presidency, a normal presidency should age the president. His presidency aged America. And I really think about that.
Oh,
And I'm just like, that shit was just way too much going on.
I mean, we had hair. We had hair at the beginning of the Trump presidency.
Bro, I don't know what to say anymore. But when it comes to her, another one of those where it's like, do your job. Like no one wants to hear from you. Your showboating means nothing. And on top of that, that propaganda of Biden's DOJ, they've taken all the proper steps. And this is the part where I love talking to some of my conservative friends where they're talking about how this is a hoax or whatever. And I go, hoax or not, like however you want to spin it. I go, if he is found proven guilty, beyond a reasonable doubt, how will you react to this? And one of them wrote to me and they were just like, this is a hoax. It's nothing. And I go, so disbelief is your answer. That's how you're going to react to this. Okay. So disbelief. And then they start talking about Hunter Biden, of course, all the talking points,
Hillary.
you know what I mean? Everything. I go, what about Hillary's emails? And I'm just laughing when I see that shit. And how can you not? And so I sit there and I'm really processing that where I look at them and I go, you have your opinion. No one's taking that away from you.
Yep.
Your opinion is not a fact. Plain and simple. You on social media is not the court of law.
Nope.
If you have some shit, bring it to this level of magnitude, this level of actual. It is sitting in front of a judge. You have the jurors there. You have everybody in court. Bring it to that.
Yep.
And then you can talk about all the other things that you want to talk about. Everything else has been political theater. Yes. Everything. And until you bring it to that point, they tried with Durham. That was millions of dollars, 3 years of him looking to find any type of stone to unturn, to roll over and find something. And he found nothing. Yep. His cases were tossed out left and right. Things he actually brought to the court, tossed out. A waste of millions of dollars, which it was one of those things. We had to have it. Hey, checks and balances. We had the investigation with Mueller report, which was the Trump DOJ. And then you had the Durham, which is the Trump DOJ, looking into a number of things that bled over into Biden's presidency.
Yeah.
And no one interfered. Biden didn't say, stop this thing, wrap it up, you're done, you're losing your job. None of
Yeah.
that stuff. He let it continue until the
Conclusion.
man, until the very poorly figured out conclusion, where literally, when you said at the very beginning of this conversation between us that Jack Smith, if he's coming for Trump, if he's coming for an ex-president, this is career suicide if he does not step correct. Durham did not step correct, and it wasn't even for those big wigs.
Yeah.
And so now he's been just let go, and he's going to fade away in history.
Yep.
Many people probably don't even know what I'm talking about right now as I bring this up. And it's interesting to see what Jack Smith is going to bring to the table, because he brought receipts.
Yeah.
And he's coming in hot, and it's going to be very telling what Tuesday's like. And it's like, it's just all we can do is just sit back at this point.
Yep.
Because if you think anybody's storming anything where you have all these people who are involved at this caliber, we're talking about Secret Service. That's like trying to storm the White House. You're not storming the White House. You stormed the Capitol, where there was no Secret Service except for Pence and some for Pelosi.
You had maybe 50 officers on the premises.
You know what I mean? This is a totally different conversation. You have everybody stepping up their A game to prepare for the worst because of these knuckleheads popping off on social media.
Yep.
Social media is not trying you. The court of law is, and they're coming in hot. They're coming in hot. He's leaving no stone unturned.
That's why somebody on social media told me the other day, like, well, or yesterday, Jack Smith said that, Trump needs to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. I said, yeah, by the court of law and the jurors. I said, I know that motherfucker's guilty. I said, I can say whatever I want. You said, I don't have to presume shit.
Yeah.
I was like.
But at the same time, it's like, sure. These are the facts that are placed in front of me. Disprove it.
Right. Like, we have the indictment now. We have all the information. They have the CCTV video.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, it's done. It's a wrap.
They have everything locked in.
And you said this earlier. They haven't even gone to Georgia yet.
No.
They haven't even done the election interference yet.
No.
Like, this is about documents. This is about espionage. This is about selling secrets. Next is going to be the election interference in Georgia and possibly Arizona.
And Jack Smith's a part of that too, in D.C. Dude, and he's like, this is January 6th. And then you're talking about what's happening in Georgia. They're talking RICO case.
Yep.
Because you're talking Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Yep. All being there with these fake electors.
Yep.
And you're like, yo, there is definitely some collusion going on here.
And I think a lot there, that's why Jim Jordan, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all these people that are in that Trump bubble, they're all concerned, because I think a lot of them, whether it was intended or unintended, have played a part in this. And when it comes out, it's going to be bad for them.
They're definitely dedicated to being by his side, and that's telling.
It really is. Telling. The only reason you stand next to somebody that's literally, their whole life is crumbling, and the only reason for you to stand next to them and keep praising them is that they've got something on you, that they can equally fucking destroy you if they want to.
Or they're the band on the Titanic.
Or that.
One last song, chaps.
Let's go.
Because that's where they're at, man. It's literally where they're at. It's just going to be so telling to see. Like, after this Tuesday, 3 p.m., since that's what the flyer said, it's going to be really crazy.
That's what the flyer said. Oh my God. Okay. Ann Coulter here, and so here's the video of Chris Christie. Since you were talking about him,
yeah, he's going ham.
He said the grift from his family is breathtaking. It's breathtaking. Jared Kushner and Ivanka Kushner walk out of the White House and months later get $2 billion from the Saudis. $2 billion from the Saudis. Do you think it was because he's some kind of investing genius? Ann Coulter's response was, "I just wired $50,000 to the Kushner family. This is everyone's fight." Did I read that one wrong too?
No, this is interesting. Maybe she just got some document intel. I don't know.
I mean, can you wire me $50,000? Shit.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's quite interesting on
Now
that.
this was this is the final picture we're going
But
to
you see,
show.
Chris Christie is saying some real shit though.
He
He's
he's
going
saying the
in.
same thing we were saying. Like,
He's going ham on them, and it's really spot on. It's
yep.
really spot on. Again, with the 6 documents, it's not hard to tie this all together.
Well,
Six
no.
top secret documents in Trump's office. You don't think he's affiliated with Ivanka and Jared at all?
Yeah.
No, there are definitely conversations there, and that's why else would they be getting 2 billion off of any type of information being
And I'll
shared?
take it a step further. You know, here in Arizona, we're in a water crisis. In Phoenix, they stopped
Yeah,
new builds because we don't have the water. But what a lot of people don't know is that the GOP run state legislature and Doug Ducey, our former governor, actually signed deals with Saudi Arabia and leased them farmland and gave them pretty much unlimited access to our water supplies to grow alfalfa for their livestock.
I heard about this. I heard about
So
this,
in
and it takes
Texas,
a lot of water. It takes a
it takes a
lot of
ton of
water.
water. Alfalfa,
Yeah,
if you go Google it, alfalfa is a very it sucks up a lot of water to grow. So I mean, it takes a
yeah,
lot. It's not something you'd want to grow in the fucking desert, which is why they
no,
don't grow it in the desert there. So I
right.
don't know why we're leasing them land. And then on top of it, Saudi Arabia owns it's either the largest or the second largest oil refinery in Texas. So Saudi Arabia has been buying up America for quite some time now. And then
Yeah,
so to see them give 2 billion to the Kushner family, which probably also made its way to Trump. Yeah, no, that's insane.
yeah.
The Saudis are. It'll be interesting to see what their involvement is in this moving forward.
Well,
But
they're playing chess. But yeah, please continue.
yeah, we're gonna end it on this. So Trump went down to Georgia today, like I said, with Margie Taylor Greene and some others, and this is one of the photos they got with all the police officers. How are you going to have a bunch of fucking police officers standing around there, fucking, oh, thumbs up, oh, this is great? Like, dude, this guy was just indicted for fucking espionage, and you think it's cool, man?
Well, go back real quick to that. Go back to that because I mean, about 7 of them looked like they're storming the Capitol. So I don't know. It looked
Yeah,
like they were doing the same thing.
especially the guy with the yeah.
I mean, that's what I find so funny about the police officer community is that, especially the ones that are very gung ho about Trump, it's telling about who they are because
Yeah.
there's a lot of rhetoric that comes with being a part of a mega type of Republican.
Mhm.
And first thing you have to do is you have to get rid of any type of um, uh, what should I call it? Dignity. I think that's the first thing. And it's like one of those aspects where you have to fully engulf yourself in the idea that Trump is your savior,
Yeah.
and you follow this deity and you follow this false prophet, and you have this idea that he is there for you, the people, and it's like he's far from it. He'll sell you out just for entertainment.
Man, like you said earlier, he sell his own kids out. What do you think he's
He
going to do
would.
to us
He would, and I mean, and he is. Why again do you have top secret documents
in your
in your
bathroom?
office? Well, in your office, because that in your bathroom, you're not making the phone call. In my can't even shut your legs out, boy. Can't even shut your legs out.
Right?
Not
Like you
even
sit on the toilet and you're like, well,
not
fuck,
even
let me
comfortable.
peek in
You
see
know what I'm
what's in
saying?
there.
Easy reading. Got some easy reading in here, Trump. Got some easy reading. Ooh,
Like I
nuclear
said, you're
codes.
going to tell me nobody walked in this ballroom and was like, I'm going to go through some boxes.
Oh
Come
man,
on, man.
it's
Look,
just it's something else.
so I know we're going to talk about DeSantis and some other stuff on the next show, but we're already an hour and 13 minutes in, so we need to stop talking now.
On that note, deuces. It's like
No, but do you got anything you want to say before we jump off?
drone strike.
Drone strike. There's nothing else we really need to say. And with that, I'll leave you with much love, keep fighting, and we'll see you guys on the next show.
Much love.